11 speeds are a category of discs that everybody tries to do right. Today I have 3 of the most popular 11 speeds as I'm kind of bringing back a comparison style series. Over 9 holes, we're going to play just these 3 discs. There are a lot of other great 11 speeds, but these are arguably the most popular straight to slightly overstable finishing 11 speeds on the market. The Innova discs, Wraith, the OG. This is kind of what everything is based on. Maybe even Ken Climo's new disc that has come out. I'll be reviewing that as soon as I possibly can. So 11, 5, -1, 3 are the flight numbers. The Grace was my 11 speed of choice when I got started playing. I loved Kristen Tatar, I loved Latitude 64, and so this 11, 6, -1, 2 disc is just incredible. I loved it for a while, and one that's kind of flown under my radar a bit is the Photon from MVP. This is a fission Photon. They're all in kind of like an opaque plastic. Maybe I should have a neutron to compare to these two, but I think this will actually be more similar because typically with MVP, if you lower the weight, it's what really changes the flight characteristics. So I think even though this is fission, it'll act pretty similar to these other two. And over the course of the round today, we're gonna see which one might be the best 11 speed out there. There's not one right answer, I'll just let you know up front, but we're gonna do CTP battle with all 3 of them, rotating the order, starting with the OG, the Wraith, then the Grace, then the Photon. It'll rotate every hole for 9 holes, because whoever is the winner of the CTPs, I will give away, if I can't shoot with my first disc on the hole, at least 4 down on this back 9. It's pretty long out here, and we are gonna be playing course pars, so we'll actually make it 5 down, because there's some par 4s that I'll probably get some eagle looks on. Actually, there's par 5s. We'll call it 6 down. I have to shoot 6 down. Course pars, because I'll have some eagle looks for sure. 376 to get started, just past these logs. We have a tailwind, so we're just gonna throw a wide hyzer and see how they respond. Little flip up, that should be perfect. If that wasn't close to acing it, I don't know what is, and I also forgot to move the camera back. So if you couldn't see that, yeah, definitely not. Sorry that I'm a hack and a fraud, that was a beautiful shot. Grace is up next. It's a little more driven. Oh, that might go in too. Oh, that's gonna be long actually. And now, I've only thrown this disc a couple times. We'll try out this fission Photon. Okay, not as much flip up, which is kind of to be expected for me in MVP, but that might be the closest driver there. We'll get right back to shredding, but I have to tell you about today's sponsor, Vessi. The Stormburst high tops and low tops are my go-to for disc golf. Low tops for almost everything, including going to the gym and wearing out, because not only are Vessis 100% waterproof, and I've been wearing one pair for over 6 months at this point, still with absolutely no issues on their waterproofness. They're also some of the most comfortable and best looking shoes in my opinion that I've worn before. The traction, especially in, as you can tell, snow and mud, is on par with anything else that I've ever worn for disc golf. And the fact that I can come out in a snowy round like I am right now, or even just a muddy one like you're currently watching, without any fear of my socks or feet getting wet, which is literally the worst feeling I had when I played disc golf last winter. And I just resigned myself to having cold, wet feet. Now, being able to keep my feet dry, it's one of the reasons that the Vessis are my go-to and favorite shoes that I've ever worn for playing disc golf. If you go to vessi.com/Bodanza, you can get 15% off your first order with them. They have these in low tops and high tops, as well as some other styles that you've seen me wear on the channel before, and some more that you'll see me wear in the future. If you want my recommendation for disc golf shoes, go to vessi.com, keep your feet dry this winter, even if you go out in multiple inches of snow, like I'm having to play in right now, which is why I'm wearing the high tops. Big thank you to Vessi for sponsoring this video. I'm gonna get back to the round, and we can see who is the king of 11 speeds, at least of these 3. Grace got a little out of hand back here. Speaking of out of hand, the hand feel of these and the shape is all relatively similar, but slightly different. Wraith had to be so close to going in. Oh my gosh, I can see, this is where it spiked in. That had to be a foot, maybe. Photon is right down here. I can see a little roll marks where it hit and kind of spun out. But, oh man, which is closer? 1, 2, 3, 7 to my 4 foot. Oh, Wraith, I think, has got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, 6 and change, baby. 1 down to get started of the 6 needed to save myself from the giveaways. I love doing giveaways, but I also like winning. So it's a win-win. If I lose, I win because I get to give stuff away. If I win because I win. But let's head back to my office and take a look at the profile and hand feel differences of these, because they are there for sure. They're all relatively similar, but I think they will all excel in slightly different areas.
So, these 3 bad boys. Quintessential 11 speeds. The Wraith honestly, I had never really given too much of a chance. I threw it a little bit when I first started playing because I got one in a player's pack, I think, or maybe in winnings when I played a tournament in Vegas. I've been throwing it recently a little bit for a couple videos, and man, is it impressed me. It is very controllable. I really like this star because it's just straight. A little bit of turn, a little bit of fade, but it's not drastic, and it's not nearly as hard to throw as like a 12 or 13 speed. So in 11 speeds going in my bag this year, I think, especially for my forehand, as you'll see. Wraith here is kind of a middle parting line between these two discs. If you look at the Photon and the Grace up against the Wraith definitely just seems to be a little domier actually than both of them. The Graces can be domey, but these stock Royal ones are a little flatter, I've found. A little bit of a step up is like this Orbit Grace. Not too much domier, just about on par with the Wraith. And then these Project Grip ones are a little domier even than those. These are actually pretty sweet. So I have a couple Graces. I really love them, and it's still such a good disc, as you'll see throughout the rest of today. But you can tell by the parting line, it's probably going to be the most understable out of all these. And it does have good glide for not being domey. The disc that I was least familiar with coming into this is this Photon. This Fission Photon is the flattest by far. As you can tell, it's just a little higher up on these glasses that I use, and the wing is definitely the most aggressive. The parting line, where the two parts of the mold meet, it's not really a thing on MVP because they have the overmold and then the core, but where that would be, which is kind of like the middle of the wing, is higher than both the Wraith and the Grace, so the wing height is higher. I honestly thought that would make this significantly more overstable, but as you'll see throughout the rest of the video, they're a little closer than I expected, and all very good, but no spoilers. You might be surprised at who wins though. See there.
Welcome back. This is what we want to see. Par 4, 405. But because this one is like a hyzer on my backhand, since it's 405 and slightly downhill and a par 4, I'm going to see if I can get the eagle with a forehand. Because I think the Photon is the best forehand disc out of these. I don't know what it is, but maybe just MVP to me screams forehand. So big shout out, Big Germ, for going there. What a good signing. What a good dude. Watching him throw the hex on a forehand makes me want to cry of tears of joy from how beautiful it is. Go! Go! Oh my gosh! Man, I remember when I moved here, I couldn't even throw a backhand to this basket. Wow. All right. Shoot, the Grace is supposed to go first there. Looks like we're doing reverse order. Yeah, so we're revolving backwards. Left that a little wider. Man, that just... What? Around, wow, jeez. Okay, maybe these are all just good forehand discs. I think I was thinking about this and talking about it with Eagle a little bit because we trained at the same place, so we kind of crossed paths sometimes. And I was thinking, just watching him throw his forehands, and like he threw a lightweight panic. And with his power, he's still choosing sometimes different discs for forehand and backhand. And I got into the habit of like needing to throw the same disc for forehand and backhand, which my backhand roller disc would be a good forehand disc for me, like max distance. Not the same backhand max distance disc for my forehand max distance. So I think I might play around with some 11 speeds in the bag because they're easier to get up to speed. But I mean, it's downhill. This probably still plays 370 to 380 though, and I'm getting it close to there, so I'm really happy. Come on, Wraith. That was the best feeling one. I thought about driving down on that one. Didn't quite get as far, but it felt the cleanest and was the most controlled, I think. So build off that maybe. I think I might be able to go 3 down through 2. I do think the way that the rim feels on that Grace makes it very comfortable forehand and backhand for me. It'd be hard for me to say that that wasn't like my favorite when this is all said and done, I think. Although I do really like all of these discs more than I thought. Wow, the Grace on that little low line drive went about 415 feet. I'm so happy. Let's go. No! Ah, that caught so many right side chains. 342 foot, par 3. Straight ahead. We're gonna throw a slight flex with these guys because I think this is a distance a lot of people are reaching for their 11 speeds, right about 340, 350 feet. Oh, I think I shorted it. That needed to be more driven. I kind of knew I was throwing a short shot. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. I do think the Wraith, something about the feel makes me not want to do that as much. Like I want to drive it more. Didn't really work on that forehand, but just like that. Slight flex out of the hand, kind of smooth shot. Basically, when I'm throwing that, I'm trying to feel like Luke Humphreys. The way I watch him throw is like how I'm trying to execute that shot. Now the Photon. Photon, I do think, is slightly more overstable, even in that fission. Oh, and it skipped right back to the basket. Wow. All three of those discs are pretty lightly used. None of them are very used at all. So they're pretty comparable. I do think MVP typically has slightly more overstable discs than the numbers suggest. So even though this is basically what the Wraith would be, if you took an overstable Wave, maybe, which is a -2.2 disc, or even like a Zenith from James Conrad's line, which is another disc I'll be reviewing soon, because I heard it's the most underrated driver in MVP's lineup. Or like a Defy, 11.5 -1.3 as well. I want to make that 3-disc comparison too. Maybe make it 4 with the Wave, because they make a lot of discs in this category. This one, to me, is just the equivalent of Wraith and Grace. When I think of what's the MVP version of those? Photon. This is kind of fun. Outside the circle. I don't know which one's closest because the logs are still blocking it. Oh, a little low. There we go. Player 2's got it in the bag. Here's the moment of truth. Sneak over the log. Who do you think it is? Comment now. Wraith or Photon? It is Wraith. There. Where the heck is the Photon? Where'd you go, buddy? Oh, a little past. Wraith with the CTP number 2. So 2 points to the Wraith, 1 point to the Photon. 2 under for me. And nothing for the Grace. 4th hole, so it's back to the Wraith. 354-foot par 3. This is a decent pump for me on this forehand. It's gonna have to be probably flat. We do have semi-helping wind. It's tail with a little left to right, so it's gonna resist the turn a bit. And I'm aiming to throw at the height of that branch that's sticking out so that it drifts a bit and then fades back. That's really good. I think that's like 15 feet. That's really good. All right, Photon up next because we're going reverse order. Oh, not that flexy, dude. That's what happens. Hey, I forgot my cue of getting my shoulder up and then kind of swung back, and that's what happens. Ah, didn't turn it at all. Wow, that disc, that might have to be, I'm gonna have to consider that for my forehand, that Grace. That got down to 350 like it was pretty simple. And it also crushed it on that hole. Maybe see if I can get an Isaac Robinson, Kristen Tatar collab Grace. What a drive. 3 down. Wow. This next hole, though, I think we have about a 470-foot par 4, big time turnover. We'll see a lot based on what happens here. All right, Photon has the box, 480 feet. I think it's close to like 470. Not that the 10 feet makes that much of a difference. We do have a head left to right. So left to right should be helpful. Headwind, not. Photon has the box. Wraith is starting to get a little ridiculous on these CTPs though. There might be something to that. Oh my days. That's great. I think that's the shortest flying out of all of these discs, to be honest with you. But that is smooth. Held the turn, got out of it. There's something nice about that. I bet a beat in one of those would be incredible. Big Drum's gonna be throwing that disc for his Wraith slot. And maybe if you even find some little domey ones. Here's the Grace. Yeah, definitely more understable. Come out of it. Dang, the Grace is getting no CT. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I liked it too much. I tried to get that one like flatter instead of Anheuser because I knew it would be a little more understable. But I also compensated with the line because I thought it would hold it, but it didn't really hold it over. Come on, Wraith. Yeah, dude. Oh, more stable. So the Wraith is more overstable than the Grace, less overstable than the Photon. It also just went pin high, I believe. I also found this trail earlier today. There's a name on it, so I'm gonna get it back to the person. It was popping out of the snow. Let's see if the trail is a true 11 speed. It's so gummy feeling. There's something special about that disc. They put something in the DNA of that Frisbee to make it just go for days. Even though I burned this Wraith over a little bit, it's still pretty close to pin high. Definitely shorter. The trail is chilling right here, just outside the circle. It's about the same distance, actually slightly shorter than the Photon. And then the Wraith, I think, oh, it's also in line with it. Photon has another CTP and another eagle chance. Whenever I have an obstruction on the right side, I always feel like it's impossible to miss it right. Then it just happens. Oh yeah, high right, and dragged it in there. 4 under. I love course pars. I think there's 2 more, or 3 more cheesed pars. Oh, this is gonna be great. Hole 15, T-Sign calls it a par 5, 715. Mando to the right of that pull. I'm only gonna throw the Grace, because that's the one that has the box. And then we'll throw from the Grace to the basket with the rest of the discs. Probably standstill or slight run up forehand. I think the Grace might, out the box, be slightly more understable than the other 2 discs. And by slightly, I mean a decent bit, but that was pretty crushed. That's probably like 415 on a hyzer. Okay, I forgot how much this disc crushes. You know, since this isn't my trail, it's a pretty good marker at least. Grace, I guess we're treating this like the box, but of course, we're going for the eagle. I think I'm gonna try standstill forehand, giving a touch of flex, out left, flat to flex, and getting it close. Should be awesome. Come on, Grace, get back. Oh, a little short. Okay, gotta pop it a little more. Better. I think that with the Photon is perfect. I mean, both of those I think are about 20 feet. Just one's a little farther. And the Photon, similar. No, I rolled it. Dang it, it's not that much more stable. Ah! Good news to all the OGs. The Grace has a point. Technically, mathematically, it's anyone's ballgame. Can't miss this putt with this water just hanging out around here. And that's an eagle. Hard to say that you can throw a backhand and a standstill forehand and get an eagle, but I'm taking 6 down through 6, baby. My channel, my rules. 498, par 4, down in those slats. This one's a bomb. This one again is in that head, left to right. So I'll have to throw them on whatever's gonna get them to hold turn. Wraith has the box, and I think this is gonna be about this much anhyzer ideally. High and left, so it pans, gets the flat. The Grace, I think I'm gonna have to throw flat on the same line, or kind of hyzer flip slightly more inside. And the Photon, I think, is gonna have to be a little more ripped over. It's kind of a step up from the Wraith, but they're kind of like equidistant steps. They're not insane, but a little bit. Go, buddy. Go. Ah, shorty, shoot. That's not bad though. All right, let's get it better. That's better. Get a skip, come on, come on. Oh yeah, that's good. The Grace, I think, is the farthest flying, so this is the best chance of getting a CTP and getting 2 in a row. Ah, I tried to throw it flat and I threw so much hyzer. Photon might be at 3 now. Wraith is so beautifully framed up. Grace is somewhere way over there. And the Photon crushed it. I didn't think this had it in it, but I guess when you throw a good, committed, clean shot, you get edge of circle like 3 feet short of pin high. For back-to-back eagles, baby. Drop. Oh, jeez. Yep. Let's go. 7 through 7. I need to play courses where I cheese the pars all the time. I feel awesome right now. Another par 4, baby. This one, He's right behind all that little cluster right there. 415 feet. This is gonna be the hyzer test. It's 415, so it's pretty far. I'm gonna see kind of throwing them. I don't want them to be able to turn it all. They can like be flat and just wide. We do have a right to left, somewhat tailwind. The wind's not really up right now, so it shouldn't help too much, but it's not gonna hurt, which is a win. Photon, I think, will be the hardest. I'm gonna have to try to probably throw this one flat, which for me oftentimes comes out on a little hyzer. As long as I get it close to flat, it'll be able to carry a lot of that distance. Last hole really showed me it goes far. You just have to throw it well, which for me is a very driven line, and it likes to respond to that. So hopefully I can recreate some magic and get an eagle. It flipped up a bit. Okay, good. Oh, that makes me feel better about that disc, because I thought it was a little more stable, a little different. That's, I think, should be pin high, just about 30 right. I'm stoked with that. Grace next. This is going to be a hyzer where it starts like this and you watch it kind of pop up a lot of the way, because this is definitely the most understable one. Just like that. A lot of hyzer pops up to a little hyzer. Skip in. Oh, log. A little short. Sometimes that's my tendency with that disc too, is get it a little, like a little more nose up than these other ones. I still think it's slightly nose down, but this one, I feel like I like to throw it a little more driven. I don't know what it is. I really like this Wraith, and it's kind of turning out to be Wraith or Photon for the win, which I did not expect at all. I really thought the Grace was going to kick their butts. Gotta leave it wider. That's pretty fun. All right, Grace might actually still somehow have it. That's pretty close. The Photon is a great shot. And for all these being hyzers, for them being around 400 or 410, I'm super stoked with. Oh man. Grace, you might be able to see under that log. Wraith is here. I'm not gonna lie. The Wraith is like less than a foot closer, but it is still closer. Dang it. All my Grace bias has been going out the window. For eagle, baby. Boom. 9 down through 8. Last hole. Let's make it double digits. Par 3 up the hill. 356. I've been kind of kiting that one. Yeah. Oh, I feel like that one is just something about the rim shape. It just fits in my hand so well. It's so driven. I have no idea if these are close. There's a guy playing behind me, so. Okay, I like that Photon more and more and more. Wow. I bet if I can find some beat-in ones of those, that same flatness, they'll be so good on my forehand. Grace. Wraith. Photon tied the Wraith at 4 CTPs to the Grace's 1. I cannot believe that. I really thought that the Photon was gonna be my worst disc. Wow. Tenner. Let's go. I don't know what that would be in like legit pars, but I think still pretty good. Maybe 5, 6, I don't know. Hope you enjoyed this 3-disc comparison style. I'm planning on doing it with a lot of kind of OG discs and maybe even some new ones. I have a lot of fun, and I think this format's really cool. Just gonna have to figure out a name for it. But that being said, subscribe if you'd like, snag all these on Infinite if you want, and I'll see you guys in the next one.